Welcome to NTA Nationwide. I am Elizabeth Banu. The federal government has reaffirmed commitment to ensure that the leader of the Boko Haram terrorist group, Abubakar Shekau, is arrested to face justice no matter what it takes. The Minister of Defense, Mansour Dang Ali, stated this to newsmen after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has details.
Before granting audience to the Defense Minister Mansour Dang Ali, President Muhammadu Buhari interacted separately with the service chiefs and heads of other security services in a deliberate move towards securing Nigeria for effective service delivery in line with the change agenda. The President's meeting with the Defense Minister is therefore the climax of his strategic engagement with critical stakeholders on national security and the mop-up operations against Boko Haram to center stage.
If you have had the opportunity to go to Sambisa, you will know that the Boko Haram have been defeated. We have opened up the place. We are using the place as a training area whereby the army engineers will open roads, who shall be patrolling and be ransacking that forest for the whereabouts of Shekau. It's just a matter of time. It took America about 7 to 10 years to get Bin Laden, so we get Shekau as soon as possible.
The Minister of Defense, Mansour Dang Ali, who is also a retired Army General, expressed gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari for the unprecedented support and proper guidance of the Nigerian armed forces, thereby restoring their dignity and glory.
And he was impressed with the performance of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Security situation is something that you cannot get 100%. And remember that Nigeria has been having these turbulences for long ago. We are trying to manage it, whereby every Nigerian will have peace and tranquility and do his normal business. The directive is we should do more, of course. And the more we put our efforts, the more the Nigerians get safer.
Also discussed with the President, the Minister said include ways and means of ensuring that the displaced victims of terrorism and insurgency who return to their various communities are adequately supported and protected for a more fulfilling livelihood. From the State House, Adam Musambo, NTA News.
In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has challenged the Nigerian Navy to sustain efforts at developing a credible naval power towards guaranteeing security of the nation's maritime domain. This is to boost oil and gas activities and maritime trade and commerce for enhanced economic prosperity. The President threw the challenge when he granted audience to the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas. Again, Adam Musambo reports.
With its motto, Onwards Together, the Nigerian Navy, which has had a phenomenal growth acquiring several sophisticated and state-of-the-art platforms, could be described as a multi-mission maritime arm of the Nigerian Armed Forces. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas, was in the State House to brief President Muhammadu Buhari on the recent exploits of the Nigerian Navy, challenges, as well as plans to effectively secure and protect the nation's territorial waters spanning 84,000 nautical miles. The briefing held behind closed doors is part of President Muhammadu Buhari's ongoing strategic engagement with critical stakeholders on national security, stability and development.
Are there specific instructions to you by the President after your special briefing to you?
Just to continue to do that which will enable our country to prosper. If you recall, last month we commissioned the Falcon Eye, an MDA project called Falcon Eye in Calabar area. Those of Lagos and Yenegua had been commissioned before now. This is also aimed at bolstering the capacity of the Navy to contain the menace of pirates.
Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ekwe Ibas also gives an update on the contributions of the Nigerian Navy to the operations of the multinational joint task force in the Lake Chad Basin aimed at containing terrorism and insurgency.
Now, Mr. President approved the establishment of an operational base for the Navy in the Lake Chad area to help in consolidating on the security of that area and to facilitate economic activities to pick up, more so that we are recovering from the effect of the insurgents in the recent past.
President Buhari's engagement with those that matter in respect of the Secure Nigeria project continues. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And at the 2017 Nigerian Navy Small Arms Competition, President Muhammadu Buhari's message assured Nigerians that no section or territory of the country will ever be occupied by terrorists. The competition is holding in Sambisa Forest, Borno State. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Sambisa Forest, with 60,000 square kilometer landmass, was the former stronghold of Boko Haram terrorist group, with its command and operational base situated in Camp Zero. Following the fall and capture of the forest by the Nigerian military, the Chief of Army Staff promised to dominate and further secure the dreaded forest through the conduct of training exercise.
The Nigerian Army Small Arms Championship is an army-level championship designed to assess as well as enhance proficiency of Nigerian Army personnel in weapon handling and marksmanship.
At the annual event that was last held in 2010, with 9 formations participating, the Ministry of Defense noted that strict adherence to professionalism was the cardinal factor that ensured the success recorded by the military in the war against insurgency in the Northeast.
This championship is not only sharpen the marksmanship of the Nigerian Army personnel, but it will also instill the desired confidence and determination to achieve excellence.
The federal government has named the Sambisa Forest Shooting Range after Nigerian Army's fallen hero, late Colonel Abu Ali, while the Borno State government declared 27 March as annual Sambisa Memorial Day celebration.
Very soon, the Borno State government will respectfully request for partnership with the Federal Ministry of Defense towards working together to construct a national museum that we might call Sambisa Pole an International Research Center.
Is a promise fulfilled by our party and by our able president. When he came into power, he said, by the grace of God, Boko Haram will be over soonest, and this is a manifestation of it.
We commend the gallantry of the Nigerian armed forces in degrading the terrorists and then rooting them out from their stronghold of Sambisa Forest.
The championship being revived was last held in Jaji, Kaduna State, from the Sambisa Forest in Borno State.
Senate has stepped down President Muhammadu Buhari's request for confirmation of 27 persons for appointment as resident electoral commissioners for 2 weeks. The decision followed an objection raised by Senator Peter Nwabushi, who requested for 2 weeks to enable the Senate President consult the presidency on this and other related matters.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that we should send down this item for 2 weeks, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletin. The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend the Electoral Act 2000, which seeks to, among other issues, make the use of card reader mandatory in Nigeria's electoral processes. The bill also seeks to provide for diaspora voting in Nigeria and for running mates to replace standard bearers in the event of death.
It's one of the bills considered at today's plenary, and in fact, the duration of the consideration underscores the importance of this bill. Members spent close to 2 hours debating the amendment bill. Is the fact that they want to make it mandatory for the use of card reader in Nigerian electoral system, as well as introduce diaspora voting. I have with me here one of the sponsors of that bill. He's Representative Karim Sunday. He's here to tell us more on that bill.
Thank you. My own aspect of the bill has gotten to do with death of the president or the governor, even their running mates, or even a member of parliament during an ongoing election. Why do you have to jettison the running mate? Their running mate, without a running mate, governorship candidate cannot be. So that is why I'm saying, look, if we have such situation in future, the running mate should be made to conclude the election and be sworn in as governor.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
As it is, the other aspect of the bill that calls for diaspora voting, well, witnessed a heated debate as quite a number of members were against it. It's now back to the studio.
Thank you, Ignatius. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says its attention has been drawn to the recent reports that it has suspended 220 staff indicted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. A statement from the Commission's secretary reveals that the statement is incorrect, as it is still in the process of investigating the allegation and interviewing all staff concerned in accordance with the principle of fair hearing. While promising to make its decision public on the conclusion of the process, the statement adds that in line with INEC's staff conditions of service, no disciplinary action can be taken until the conclusion of the process. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says the National Integrated Power should sustain efforts at ensuring optimal contribution to the national grid by Omotosho NIPP generation plant. Hamza Musa Makarfi reports.
Omotosho NIPP generation plant with 4 turbines has 500 megawatts capacity. However, like other power generation assets, daily operational challenges on gas availability and frequency from the system operator can affect delivery. The minister says the contribution by the plant exemplifies the incremental power initiative of the government. But the immediate host of the power plant, a Omotosho community, has concerns over the lack of electricity supply.
So, and they are promising us now that before the end of April, right? Yes. It will be done. So go and tell them.
Southwest Nigeria is home to 2 NIPP power plants and some of the biggest transmission projects which impact on the nation's power sector. Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
And experts have recommended a unified approach to eliminating gas flared in Nigeria by commercializing flared gas currently estimated at over $217 billion annually. The experts spoke on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria. Lydia Sampson reports.
While acknowledging that gas flaring is a global challenge, the experts said Nigeria, like other gas-rich nations, is taking steps to tackle the problem. They decried the negative impact of gas flaring on the economy and host communities.
We have done a lot in Nigeria to reduce gas flaring. The best you can do anywhere is to reduce it to the barest minimum and ultimately not have any routine gas flaring. In 2006, about 10 years ago, Nigeria was the second largest flaring nation in the world. Today, we are number 7. We've gone a long way in reducing gas flaring in Nigeria.
They call for flexibility by policymakers to adapt to the dynamics of the market and scale up gas utilization to meet domestic demand and encourage gas development.
What has brought us to where we are is trying to go and climb the ladder from the top.
All members of the APC, political and business associates of the Asiwaju of Lagos, his friends and family, in celebrating another milestone in the life of the great leader, whose political experience led to better understanding and consensus that culminated in unseating an incumbent government. The president believes that Asiwaju raised the bar for many political leaders across the country as a two-term governor of Lagos State, and also bequeathed a style of leadership that completely altered the landscape of the commercial capital. Recalling his pleasant and intellectually enriching encounters with the Jagaban of Borgu Kingdom over the years, the president reaffirmed
would be better enhanced if efforts are geared towards embracing community policing to complement the police and other enforcement agencies.
We are launching our own whistleblower scheme with the Neighborhood Safety Corps. Any valuable information given to the corps will attract handsome rewards from the state government. I therefore call on all Lagosians to join hands with us to say a final no to crime in our state.
Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, Olusheye Oladejo, said the launch of the Neighborhood Corps and the handing over of several equipment to the agency was a testimony of a visionary government which had decided to move ahead of emerging challenges of crime.
The main thrust of the DT of every forward-looking and progressive administration is to ensure the safety of lives and property of its citizens.
A total of 177 saloon cars, 377 motorcycles, 4,000 bicycles, as well as metal detectors for ensuring that illegal weapons are not smuggled into public places, among other operational equipment, were handed over to the Corps by the governor. In Lagos, Nusa Usula, NTA News.
Lagos State Government has rolled out the roadmap for the 50th anniversary celebrations.
Become one of the 12 states in Nigeria by the military administration of General Yakubu Gowon. In Lagos, Nusa Usula, NTA News.
Following a tip-off, officers and men of the Federal Operations Unit and the Comptroller General's compliance team have intercepted a container filled with 5,056 cartons of analgesics tramadol tablets. The Comptroller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ali, made this known while examining the seizure in Lagos.
The container carrying analgesics were intercepted by men and officers of the Nigeria Customs Service along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The analgesics are dangerous drugs under prohibition. The Comptroller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ali, while examining the contraband, explained that the importer brought in 3,845 cartons of tramadol and 1,211 cartons of real extra.
If you compromise the first layer, you may not be able to compromise the second layer or the third layer. And that's the result of what we're seeing today. And this is what we will continue to do until Nigerians, all of us, customs or non-customs, begin to realize that these things like this are inimical to our own progress, are inimical to our own health. They are dangerous to the economy.
He used the opportunity to call on importers to desist from unpatriotic acts capable of tarnishing the image of the country. He also hinted that measures are being taken to tighten the land borders and that officers involved in clearing the contraband will face the full wrath of the law.
We have to have 3 layers of defense in order to accost this type of thing. Otherwise, if you allow it, if you leave only the ports or the borders, a lot of these things will find their way in and nobody will trace it. So we're not deliberately harassing people, but we're trying to secure the society.
The duty-paid value of the drugs is set to worth 242,688,000 naira. The drugs were produced in India and the United Kingdom.
Nigerians have been asked to see the dignity of human persons as enshrined in the Constitution as sacrosanct to guaranteeing a solid family life. Speakers at this year's African Regional World Congress of Families said the need has risen for all, especially the civil society organizations and the media, to champion the call for the restoration of human dignity. Tunesaiki reports.
In the past, the African continent holds the family as a natural phenomenon, a class of entity that must be honored and not abused. These are class of persons that will not be allowed to put the lives of another on the stake in whichever guise. Emerging trends these days are challenging, as man has become subject to seeing a girl as boy, and vice versa, because of modernity and even guaranteeing abortion as alternative to population control.
We took in a lot of things, like we took in religion, we took in education, and along them we took some other things that are not good for us, and that is corruption. Corruption in the sense of like this human dignity, like abortion, like contraceptive.
The family is somehow an impediment to development. Science actually supports the idea that strong families lead to better development.
Other speakers at the Congress described the family as a fundamental unit of the society, which with other current trends in the same society is being destroyed by individualism and sexuality education.
A radical agenda that destroys the family, that runs counter to Nigeria's culture and values and the values of most Africans on this continent.
Understand that a law is only meaningful and a law is only good for society when it intersects with morality.
The three-day Congress is expected to look at issues of rights and freedom of the society, sexuality education, international donor agency, and the institution of marriage to mankind. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
And that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Elizabeth, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Demola. Talking health now, an outbreak of suspected cerebrospinal meningitis type C has claimed the lives of 4 children in Durumi 1 in Abuja. Executive Secretary of the FCT Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Ridwan Mohammed, made this known at an emergency vaccination exercise for residents of Durumi 1. Habiba Oladapo has the details.
Death of the 4 children between the ages of 4 to 7 years has led to the influx of school children and residents of Durumi 1 to the chief's palace to get the vaccination.
We did not be able to identify till when we informed the head personnel they should come and check what happened. Through their investigation now, it was found out that it's meningitis that affected.
The Executive Secretary, FCT Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Ridwan Mohammed, said the index case was reported to the Abuja Municipal Area Council house-to-house polio vaccination team on March.
Arrested. Benedict Bangkok reports.
Reactions has continued to trail following the arrest of a young man suspected to have poisoned the food in a restaurant in Oboso, Mbobe East, Ogoja local government area of Cross River State, that claimed 2 lives and over 60 persons hospitalized.
Malpai Foundation is bringing. Aside giving them a sense of belonging, the visit is to urge the women to keep believing in themselves and shun acts that can hinder peace in the country.
We're planning a trade.
Cooperatives, that is when people come together and save money.
If you're a future planner, you're planning to become a business person, you must learn how to keep or save money.
Initiated by Child and Youth Finance International, Global Money Week uses the
prisons, which will form the basis of their report to the House.
There seems to be congestion within the prisons, and if there is any revolt around there because of the nature of the prisoners being housed at Okekura.
Every part of the country.
One we stand, in unity we stand. It's one Remo, one Nigeria.
That is what we are preaching to our people every day, that to live in peace. If there is no peace, there is no any development in any environment.
The theme of the lecture is the need to live together.
Between the legislature and the NTA. In Ibadan, Kemi Akiwande, NTA News.
That's our package from Ibadan. It's back to Abuja for continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Fatai. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download
It wasn't like this before.
Before, we didn't have much like that.
Our classrooms were very shabby.
We did not have enough teachers.
No seats.
We did not have any building. We don't have good uniforms.
Immediately Owele came to power, everything changed automatically. Our school is sparkling. They have seats, enough seats per individual, new structures.
Free education, free desks. We have new buildings and new school uniforms.
This is the new Imo State, where education is free. The Imo Rescue Mission. Imo must be better.
Vote for me, and I will turn night into day.
Vote me, I will ban for more importation. Everybody will start eating turkey and chicken.
Put me in power, and I will bring winter to West Africa.
I will turn all the taxi into plane.
Campaign promises. Another hilarious episode of Professor John Bull, your rib-cracking comedy. Find out the true gist of election violence, betrayals, and promises as Olani goes head-to-head with Udo.
You have money? You have money? Who you mean?
Showing at 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on NTA Network International and Star Times.
By the time I become the chairman, I will make you my special advisor.
Why not going to make me money advisor?
What is wrong with you, my daughter? That is why people will look at politicians as thieves.
Over and out. Brought to you by Glow.
Welcome to the new speed. Ngozi and Ebiri have some things in common. They are young, smart, beautiful, and both have a common desire to see Adams suffer for his crimes against them and many others. Wale and Enuga Productions presents a tale with the ultimate twist from This Life family drama entitled A Change of Heart, starring Livinus Inochiri, Kate Adefeba, Dejumo Lewis, Henrietta Kusoko, Yemi Sholade, Rose Odika, Kunle Kauka, Yeni Ejide, Toyi Aimaku Johnson, Wale Adebayo. Change of heart. Sometimes to forgive is not your decision to make.
Coming up, we visit David Daniele. In the 10 months since he appeared on Airtel Touching Lives, his Center for Citizens with Disabilities has gone from strength to strength.
Thank you, Airtel. We are glad that you came.
And for Emmanuel Onyeka, his dream of completing his studies has been dashed. A tragic Okada accident in 2015 had left him an amputee.
Being a mother is a lot of work. Being a caring mother is a daily task. To have a healthy mother and child, you need all the help you can get. Whatever your health concern is, a mother or child, join us on Mother Care on this station at this time. Because we always say, being a mom, it's the best thing in the world.
At Nips Kuru.
Yes, so no be only government go stop Lassa fever. Now everybody go put hands together to stop Lassa fever. We don't hear small to say Lassa fever don't use style resurface for some part of this country them. But the Federal Ministry of Health say make you no panic. Now so they clean our house all the time. We chase rats come out, and if rats don't mood for our house, Lassa fever don't come out be that. Lassa fever get two symptoms. One are early stages where they bring fever, sore throat, vomiting, diarrhea, joint pain. The second stage now bunge, now they cause bleeding from the nose, eyes, spectrum. It go even they make blood to the come out from private part, even cause swelling genital. Make we start to the shop rats. Anyway, we rat fit enter our house. Make we block her. Don't forget, say, division of the universal health coverage. That to see, say, everybody they can't pay. Our God president, Mwame Buhari, want everybody make we stand in the bar. Yama no good for us, so it invite her. Sweat where they come up from person where get Lassa fever. Fit transfer the disease from one person to another. If you suspect any fever, we don't treat it with better medicine and you no go quick, or you suspect any person where get Lassa fever, make you rush go any health facilities where they near you. Lassa fever must go. Now all of now go give them red card. Now Federal Ministry of Health bring on this message.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Nationwide. Prospective candidates besiege JAM registration center in Jos. And Governor Simon Lalong flags off retreat for government officials at NIPS Kuru. Let's join Caleb in Jos for details of these and more.
Thank you. Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State has urged the various state governments to avail themselves of the services of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies School to sharpen the skills of top government functionaries in their states for effective and efficient service delivery, even in the midst of scarce resources. He said this while declaring open a retreat for members of Sokoto State Executive Council, permanent secretaries, and directors general underway at the institute. Paul Dama reports.
Governor Simon Lalong says with the change administration of the APC, almost 2 years in office, the environment and opportunity is ripe for critical thinking on urgent steps to ensure international best practice in governance.
This retreat therefore serves the purpose of being a platform for postmortem of our midterm performance as a government in Nigeria. We must therefore, with this evaluation, ensure we consolidate on our achievements with strategic adjustments and strategic project implementation.
Sokoto State Governor Tambuwal said the retreat, which is the second under his administration, is a forum for senior government officials to brainstorm and develop workable policies for the development of the state.
At the moment, the arrangement for the establishment of the fertilizer and tomato processing factories, as well as textile company, have reached advanced stage. I would like to assure you that within the next few years, the processed products from Sokoto State, with all the required quality standards, will find their way into the market within the country and beyond.
APC National Chairman Mr. John Oyegu, in a keynote address, noted that the Nigerian economy is gradually picking up as the nation is in its early stages of consolidating on a new economic reality of shifting from total dependence on oil to other sectors.
Has the structure to deliver these services and these policies been effective in the implementation of the policies you agreed on 2 years ago? That is the basic challenge before you today.
Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar, commended Governor Lalong for the prevailing peace in the state and urged him to keep up the good work. From NIPS Kuru, Paul Dama, NTA News.
Amid chaos at the JAMB registration centers across the country, authorities of JAMB in Jos say there is no need for prospective candidates to rush for registration, as adequate arrangements have been made to ensure that every candidate registers before the closing date. Ben Mitu has the situation report.
Most of them are aggrieved. They lament that the registration process is overbearing and their fate uncertain.
Since last Tuesday, we've been here, we're trying to reach our job, and all this while we've been suffering, we haven't got our pin.
They've given us, but the pin, me and my friend, our pin is the same, and it's not supposed to be the same.
These are few voices of many whose hopes are becoming bleak by the day. They say the process started last week, and there is no headway, as they still wonder how they will eventually get registered. JAMB authorities in Jos allay their fears, saying it envisaged this. As such, it has decentralized the registration centers into 21, but so far only 15 registration centers are functional.
Most of them have explained to them to go to other centers and register, but they have not agreed. They feel they are more secure in JAMB office. We keep on telling them, let them go there. But they cannot go. Like the University of Jos, Plateau State Polytechnic, and other centers, so many like that.
The board urges prospective candidates to pay bank agents at the various registration centers and assures that something will be done about those who already paid to the banks. Prospective candidates were also advised to be calm and orderly, as everyone will be registered since the closing date for registration is the 19th of April 2017. In Jos, Ben Mitu.
Elizabeth, it's back to you.
Thank you, Caleb. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has challenged Nigerian authors to write books that examine and prefer solutions to societal issues. He made the remark in a message at the launch of a book titled Adorogo, the Legitimate Candidate, written by Prince Edward Denen Gando. Charles Abba reports from Makudi.
Professor Godwin Yina, who reviewed the book, described the work as one that combines allegory and conceptual metaphor to picture a community where democracy is put to test. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who was represented by the Acting Zonal Director, NTA Makudi Network Center, Ohis Aigboche, lauded the author's creativity and referred to the book as a unique literary work.
It will help to expand the frontier of knowledge. And honestly, he deserves commendation.
Author of the piece was quick to say that the work addressed issues of indigenship and citizenship in the society.
That a man who was born has been born and lived, eating with you for over 100 years. He has represented you in so many aspects of your life, defended your society, has done so much, and then you say he's not capable of leading you simply because he's a visitor.
Edward Denengondo is the Director of Arts and Culture, a dancer, choreographer, and producer who has won several awards, one of which is NTA Best Actor of the Year, 1982. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.